The David Pakman Show depends and exists only thanks to the generous support of our viewers and our listeners. Get the full experience by signing up at joinpakman.com. No matter what happens in November, if Kamala Harris wins, then the work will really get going. And if Kamala Harris loses, we are going to be playing very high stakes defense for 4 years. Either way, we do need strong, independent, progressive media. This is a show. Listen, we could have gone in a different direction. I could have gone and found 10 editors micromanaging every word I say at some corporate media outlet. That is not this program. The program is simply, what do I believe? What do I want to talk about each day? And we have that independence thanks to people who sign up for membership. Grab a membership at joinpakman.com and you can use the coupon code SAVEDEMOCRACY24 for a sizable discount off of the cost of your subscription. A truly Kafkaesque moment after the debate last night. In the spin room, CNN's Kaitlan Collins interviewed Donald Trump Jr. Jr., in his continued effort to blame the media and Democrats and moderators of debates and everybody else for the 2 assassination attempts against Donald Trump, Don Jr. says, well, when people call my dad Hitler on TV, that causes violence against him. The one problem with this is that Donald Trump's own running mate, J.D. Vance, previously referred to Trump as being America's Hitler. And it gets really awkward when Kaitlan Collins reminds Junior of this.
Environment wasn't just created by Donald Trump.
Okay, but can I say, you can't blame, and everyone wants your dad to be safe. No one wants the threats against his life to happen, but you can't blame the media for those threats. There's been no evidence that's what drove those.
And allows people to have a platform to call someone literally Hitler every day for 9 years, it creates it. Okay. Whether you want to believe it or not, that's a fact.
But as you know, J.D. Vance once likened your dad to Hitler as well. He questioned if he was America's Hitler. But I want to talk about the debate.
It's a little awkward when you go, those who use the term Hitler in the same sentence as talking about my dad, they are responsible for all the violence. Oh, you mean like the guy he picked to run alongside him? They want to claim that what the left says about Trump incites violence against him. But the vast majority of the violent rhetoric is coming from them. Just yesterday, Donald Trump said that Kamala Harris has murdered people. I'm going to play that for you later on today. And they want to argue that when one of us says, you know, I'm concerned about the pillars of democracy if Trump wins, you're inciting people with guns to go and shoot him. Meanwhile, Trump goes, Kamala's murdering people. And now there's this sort of sweet irony of the fact that J.D. Vance himself once deployed the Hitler analogy to Trump himself before he did a 180 because he decided, actually, I would love to be Donald Trump's running mate. Now, the interview did not get any better. Here is Kaitlan Collins reminding Don Jr. that when Trump was in office, Iran apparently wasn't that scared since they went after American troops. Take a listen to this.
Because a weak America is good for Russia. A weak America is good for Iran, and a weak America is great for China, all of whom are chomping at the bit for a Harris-Walz administration and the continuation of the Biden policies that have failed America for the last 3.5 years.
Well, and I should note, when you talk about Iran, I mean, Iran did hit American troops when your dad was in office. I covered that, and today he was asked about that. He likened the traumatic brain injuries to headaches. But on the debate itself.
And that is a brutal Anvil-like fact check from Kaitlan Collins. It is absolutely the case that Iran certainly wasn't so scared of Trump that it didn't attack American service members. It did indeed. And Donald Trump did write off the PTSD of those military service members by saying, what, they had headaches? I'll play that clip for you a little bit later as well. Finally, Kaitlan Collins brought up the question, do you want your dad to do another debate? And of course, as the perpetual victims that this multi-billionaire family, born multi-generationally into privilege and luxury, they are the biggest victims I don't even know about in the United States. They're the biggest victims in the world. Donald Trump Jr. says, you know, everybody's unfair. The moderators are unfair. The media is unfair. So sure, he would like to debate, but he's not going to get a fair shake.
But I want to talk about the debate. Do you want your dad to do another debate after seeing tonight?
You know what? I don't think he can have a chance at getting a fair debate. I don't think there's moderators out there that will do that. I think there are probably Fox moderators that are so worried about even, trying to appease the left that they'd actually maybe even.
Well, your
lean
dad
that
said
way.
CNN gave him a fair debate. But I want.
Yeah. As usual, everybody is just so unfair. And listen, this was a Don Jr. who was coming to terms with the fact that they needed a standout performance from JD Vance. And I'm not going to come here and lie to you and say JD Vance completely collapsed. The public opinion is it was 50-50. That's just, you look at the CBS Instapoll, you look at the CNN Instapoll, you look at focus groups. It basically is going to be a wash. VP debates, as I said earlier, rarely move the needle. This one's not going to move the needle. I predict more than half a point. And so what Don Jr. is trying to set up here now is how can we do, it's not so much damage control because there wasn't really much damage, but you didn't get anything from it. A non-factor in an election that if it were held today, Kamala Harris would win and Donald Trump would lose, doesn't mean that's the way it will go down in November. It's very close in a bunch of battleground states. But if the election were held today, I believe Kamala Harris would win narrowly, more narrowly than Biden won in 2020. And Don Jr. is just like, I don't even know what I can say. He would debate, but it's all unfair and everybody's scared of him, except clearly they're not. And it's just also terrible what's happened to my family by their own doing, of course. He is just grasping for whatever he can. On the other hand, we had the reaction from Fox News to the VP debate. Let's talk about that next. You can't vapor smoke inside. You're tired of people seeing you put those little pouches in your lip. There is a nicotine alternative that people won't notice. Zippix nicotine toothpicks. Our sponsor Zippix makes the only nicotine toothpick on the planet that is FDA registered. You can use it anywhere, work, restaurants, airplanes, sporting events, after a meal. The toothpicks stay in a convenient little tube that goes in your pocket or on your keychain. It's way more convenient than carrying around a huge can of pouches all day or a whole bunch of gum or whatever the case may be. Zippix nicotine toothpicks come in flavors like peppermint watermelon, sweet wood, cinnamon, whiskey. If you're not a nicotine user, try out their B12 toothpicks with caffeine instead, a quick and easy alternative to coffee. Do your lungs a favor, cut the cigarette smoke, cut the vape juice. Go to zippixtoothpicks.com today. Save 10% with the code PACMAN10 at checkout. Just remember you must be 21 or older to order. The link is down below.